Hey, hey, hey. Good morning, everyone. Today is January 19th. It is Martin Luther King Day, and we are going live. We're doing a three-part series. We're doing a three-part series on grief and different things you need to know about grief. And the first part of the series, what we talked about is when grief comes knocking, what is it looking for? What is your grief asking from you? What is it asking from you? And the second part was what happens when you don't answer, right? What happens when you don't answer grief? And today we're going to be talking about the first thing grief needs. Grief needs safety. So I've been saying this for a while that grief needs safety, grief needs safety. And someone said to me the other day, yes, I feel really safe with my person when he was here. He's no longer here, and now I no longer feel safe. That's not the type of safety that I'm talking about. Listen, friends, I get safety and security from Tony. Tony Brubaker's my husband. He has been my husband for 40 years. I absolutely have safety and security from him. One of the reasons that I have that is I am 5'3". Everybody says 5'2", but I'm 5'3". Tony's 6'4", 230 pounds. He towers over me. He's a big guy. Nobody's going to mess with him. So when I'm out with him and I'm in public, I feel safe. I feel safe. As safe as I feel with Tony Brubaker is the exact safety you need to feel in your grief. Grief doesn't begin in your mind. It begins in your body and it sends a message to your mind. Your loss is registered as a threat. And I've said this to you over and over again. Here you are. You've come upon a grieving experience. And you also see her. She is an ugly grief monster. She has beady little eyes. She has big giant teeth. Your grief is perceived as a threat. Your brain 100% perceived this as Lady Grief. Lady Grief is a monster. She's a monster and she's chasing you. Because grief isn't emotional at first, it's intellectual at first. And here's the other thing. In your mind, it feels like you're being chased by a bear, but I call it a monster. So you're being chased by a monster, and your only job is to run. And that's what we do first. We run. The nervous system reacts before it thinks. Before you understand what even is going on, before you can even explain to anybody, you are out of here. Listen to me. You are running this way. You're like, no, I'm going in that direction. Your body doesn't feel safe. If your body doesn't feel safe, the grief will not move. Hear me when I say this, because one of the things that we need to understand is that the safety in grief comes by us experiencing the grief, by us allowing the grief, by us letting our body know that this grief has a safe place. Your insight comes from the thinking brain. You have insight in this thinking brain. Grief lives in the survival mode. It lives in survival mode. It is trying to survive. But this thinking brain, you know what it does? It thinks. Why? Because it wants answers. It wants answers to these thoughts. In early grief, your thinking brain is offline more than you realize. It is throwing you thoughts. That's why advice that people give to you doesn't land. It doesn't land in your heart. It goes right to here. You don't let that go. That is why whenever somebody says something, and it may be full of meaning, it feels empty. It feels empty because they're not speaking to your heart. They're not speaking to your heart. They're speaking directly to your brain. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's your friend Susie. Here are you. Here's you. You have a broken heart. You are absolutely broken. You're absolutely grieving. You have lost your person. And here comes Susie, and she wants to make you feel better. And she says, yeah. And you're like, because what she said went right here. Don't feel bad. He's in a better place. Don't feel bad. At least you had him for so long. Don't feel bad, right? So she's saying all of this, which goes directly to your brain. My friends, when I tell you your brain is not broken, you don't need someone speaking to your brain. But most of the things they say are intellectual thoughts, and they are never going to touch here. I don't say never. They're not going to touch there. Because to touch there would be, how's your grief today? How are you doing? Are you crying? What does the grief feel like? To touch here, she would have to say those things. You're looking better since the last time I saw you. How are you processing the grief? My heart to yours. I can't imagine what this grief feels like for you. That is why every time they throw logic at us, it goes straight to the brain. It's not because you're doing grief wrong. It's because you know exactly what they said was designed to go here. It's because your nervous system is doing the best job that it can. Your nervous system is designed to protect you. People come along, they're speaking to your brain. You're speaking to your brain. And most of the things you're hearing are not comforting. Most of the things you're hearing is not leading to happiness. Most of the things you're hearing is not helping you to grow. Why? Because protection comes first. You're going to protect yourself from the thoughts, and you're going to protect yourself from the grief monster. When grief hits, your body has one question. Am I safe right now? Am I safe right now? I want to go back to my other picture. You have one question, and that question is, am I safe right now? And for most of us, the answer is no, because it doesn't feel safe. And when the answer is no, the body activates the protection mechanism that it needs. Let me draw that again, because it got a little messy here. So let me draw that again. That's already open. You're grieving, and you're running from her, that big, ugly grief monster. And she's got teeth, and she drools a little bit. There's a little drool coming out. And you're scared to death, and you're running from her. But when the body feels this, and it feels it's not safe, it will protect you with the nervous system. The nervous system activates a protection mechanism. It happens automatically. It doesn't need permission. It's going to do it. It doesn't need your permission. It's not going to give you the choice. The nervous system is going to go into full effect. The nervous system is going to go into full effect to protect you from this. Because it feels like you're being attacked. It happens automatically. Protection responses show up in predictable ways. Fight shows up as irritation. So you either react to the grief. You're reacting to the grief. Irritation, anger, control, defensiveness, yelling, screaming. You avoid. Shows up as movement, distraction, productivity, avoidance in any way that it can. You're overproducing. You're at every meeting. You're working overtime. You're drinking every bit of alcohol. You keep moving, because as long as I keep moving, I'm staying right in front of her. Or you just pass out. Shows up as heaviness, sleeping, exhaustion, withdrawal, shutdown. All of these are the nervous system in full effect. This nervous system is either going to keep you in the resisting, the pretending, the avoiding, or the reacting. They are not emotional failures, my friend. They're survival strategies that your body's coming up with. Your body's trying to choose what worked the fastest. And here's the deal. Your body chose protection. It chose protection, not weakness. I got to protect this girl at all costs, and I'm going to use the nervous system to do that. Which response feels the most familiar to you in your body? Which response to grief feels the most familiar? Is it running? Is it yelling and screaming? Is it oversleeping? Is it drinking? Is it serving? Is it staying busy? What feels the most normal to you? What is your nervous system doing to you? Because hear me out. I want you to hear this. Every time you are here, allowing the nervous system to do the protection, which is okay, you just got to acknowledge it. Every time you're here letting it do the nervous system, guess what it's not doing? It's not grieving. It's not grieving. And as long as we stay in protection, our body is not going to grieve. Here's the other thing that I want you to know, because numbing out is one of the protection mechanisms that we use. Protection responses are not permanent, but they do become patterns when they are reinforced. When you know every night you're drinking 2 glasses of wine, girl, it's going to continue. They become patterns and they become reinforced. Every time your grief is rushed, it's going to keep being rushed. You get into the grieving experience, you don't allow it, you rush it through. Every time your pain is minimized, every time you make it less than it is, it's going to keep minimizing the pain. Oh, no, I'm fine. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Every time you're told to be strong, every time you tell yourself to be strong, every time you act strong, you're going to keep reinforcing that over and over again. Look at me. I'm telling you. I know, because that was me. Every time you push through, I know this feels bad, but just push through. Every single time you push through, the body has learned to push through, and it's going to keep pushing through. The nervous system has learned that it does not feel safe, and it's learning it from you. It's learning it from you. And I want to tell you this, the learning that it's doing is not conscious, because this lives in your body and this feels right to you. So you're allowing it to be there. This is why insight alone does not heal grief. Your insight alone will not heal your grief. You have to understand what grief is. You have to understand what is happening to you. You have to understand what is happening to you so you know what to do, so the body can feel safe. Just explaining your loss does not calm the survival response. Just saying I'm grieving is not going to calm this down. You got to go in here and know what this is. What is it this you're feeling? What is the emotion you're feeling? You got to name it. You got to name it. You got to allow it. You got to allow it to be there. The body's not going to respond to explanations. It responds to experience. I experience the grief and I feel okay. I experience the grief and it feels okay. I experience the grief, it feels okay. The more you allow the grief to be there, the more you allow yourself to experience the grief without completely losing your shit. Listen, you're going to cry. You're going to cry. You're going to cry the ugly cry. I already got that. I know that. You know that. But every time you go into a grieving experience and you experience the grief and you allow the grief to be there and you let it be there, what you're creating is safety. The body says, oh my gosh, I can do this. This feels bad. But I'm okay. I can do this. it starts noticing that it can do that, that it can process the grief and still be okay. And then what does it do? It gives you a little bit of space. It gives you a little bit of space in between the next time the grief shows up. If you allow this grief to be there, you are teaching your body that it can be there, and then it's going to give you some space before it comes out again. How much space is in here? I don't know. I don't know because it's different for everybody. And what happens is it starts to space out. Oh my gosh, I can do this. This feels bad, but I'm okay. I am safe. And then you might get a little bit of a bigger space. Let me tell you this. I see grievers all the time that come in, they walk in, and their grief looks like this. No space. Why? Because their body has never felt safe. Their body has never felt safe processing the grief, allowing the grief. Friends, you are not going to get there by pretending. You're not going to get there by just working on your thoughts. You're not going to get there by just going to the grief support, by showing up in the story room, by coming to the masterclass. You're not going to get it there alone by coming to all the lives. You got to sit your butt down and you got to process this grief. And here's the thing. I thought this morning. I can't do this for you. And neither can she. Neither can he. You got to do it for yourself. You have to acknowledge that you are grieving. You have to acknowledge that this feels like shit. And you have to acknowledge that you got to do this. Insight alone will not heal the grief. Understanding what happened does not tell the body to feel safe. Explaining your loss does not calm down the survival response. Naming the emotion, allowing the emotion to be there, letting the body respond without explaining, without pushing it away, will help you to feel safe within the processing of the grief. Does your body soften when you try to explain the grief, or does it tighten up? When you're telling somebody what's going on in the grief, are you tightening up? Safety is not the absence of pain. Because I said you're going to feel safe doesn't mean you won't have pain. It means that you've lined up the intellect and the emotional grief. Intellectual grief coming from your brain, emotional grief coming from your heart. You allow the grief to be there. You allow the grief emotions to be there. You allow the painful grief emotions to be there. And the next thing we know is that the brain and the heart have lined up. Safety is not the absence of pain. I never said you weren't going to have pain in safety. Safety is the absence of the threat. So what happens is that the grief monster, she starts to look smaller. She's further away. You don't see her as often. Those little beady eyes. She seems further away. Pain can be present in a safe body. What is safe? Safe is going here multiple times, allowing it to be there, crying it out, talking it out, journaling it out, sharing it out, all of those. Grief can move in a regulated body. Safety looks like steadiness, not predictability. Safety looks like choice. Safety feels like permission to stop. You have the permission to stop. You have the permission to feel. You have the permission to feel at your own pace. You have the permission to stop performing. Stop pretending. You pause. You understand. This is my job. This is what I got to do. Physical safety begins in the body. You'll have breath that can deepen without being forced. muscles that are not locked, a nervous system that is not on high alert, looking for the grief monster. The body stays tight, but the grief stays contained. It's not stubbornness. It's you working it out. Listen, emotionally safe grief is not positivity. I'm not over here trying to go, let's do this grief thing. We got it. We can do it. I'm not giving you the quote. I'm not going to give you the quote. It's you finding your neutral without rushing, without fixing. No pressure for you to feel. You just feel it when it comes up. If you're here and you're working and you feel it, you go sit in your car and you cry it out. The nervous system relaxes when your emotions are allowed to be without being demanded. Not correcting them, not pushing them away. You've got to begin listening to your emotions and your heart and what it's telling you without interrupting it, without you trying to explain it or pretend like it's not there. Grief demands to be witnessed. It is demanding that your grief be witnessed by you first and foremost, by anyone else in the room second. If you're bracing while I'm speaking this, I want you to question what's in your heart. Question what's in your heart. Words move. The pain does not until it's processed. People can say all the nice things. They can give you all the motivation thoughts, all the quotes. This is why there are so many people out there that talk about their grief for years and years and years, and they still have no relief. If you're holding it in tight, the grief is not going to release. You got to let it be there. You got to notice where it's at. Notice when you're holding on to it. Notice what you're speaking to your grief. What are you saying to this grief? Friends, time is not going to teach the nervous system to be safe. Processing it is. Avoiding does not teach the nervous system to be safe. Processing it does. Here's the thing about time. Time just passes on. Time just passes, right? It just continually passes. If you're not doing anything in that, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, I'm going to see you in the same spot that you always have been. The body does not unlearn fear on its own. It learns fear through repeating safety, repeating processing the grief safely. And then it's going to learn, I can do this. She was right. I can do this. It's small, it's intentional, and it's constant. It's small, it's intentional, and it's constant. Maybe today you only do it for 1 minute, small. Maybe today you only do it for 5 minutes, small. But you do it intentionally. You go into your grief corner. You use the griever's countdown. All of the things we teach in processing the pain of grief. And you're consistent every time it shows up. You go there and you process this grief. So many grievers believe they're broken. They believe that they're broken because they're still hurting. You're not broken because you're still hurting. Grief doesn't break you. The painful grief emotions serve a purpose. And that purpose is for us to understand that there are painful grief emotions. There are painful emotions. Sad, mad, afraid, embarrassed, frustrated, anxiety. There are painful emotions. But here's the deal, friends. You and I teach this in processing the pain of grief. I teach it a little bit deeper, but I'm going to teach it here. You and I have both positive and negative emotions. The problem is we all want the positive emotions. None of us wants the negative emotion. We're all trying to find that place. Let me show you what it is. It's a little island, and it's called happiness, Happy Land. It's out the South Pacific, and we're all trying to get there. And we believe that the only way we can get there is through positive emotions. Happy, smiling, joyous, being grateful. That's the only way to get to happy land. But here's the truth, my friends. When you came here to this earth, you had positive and negative emotions. You knew how to process both. But you come upon a grieving experience, and because you avoid this as much as possible, and this is where grief resides, mostly. It does reside here too. There is a little bit of grief here, but it mostly is here in negative emotions. And because we don't know how to process negative emotions, guess what we say? This is hard. I don't know how to do it. Your nervous system is doing everything it can to get you away from here. This is where the fear comes from. It's not the grief itself that you don't want to process. It's the negative emotions because they feel so bad. Because you have thought year in and year out, I don't want to go here. The nervous system adapted to that, and it doesn't feel like it's safe. It doesn't feel safe. And so as long as you are trying to get back over here, positive, you're teaching your nervous system that it will never be safe. Here's where you process pain, brokenness, whatever is in your heart. This is not a flaw. It is that we have to relearn what we already came here with. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with your nervous system. Nothing is wrong with your brain. It is just trying to get you through. Does your body feel on alert? Does it feel guarded? Does it feel tight right now? That's your nervous system on alert. A lot of times when we can brace ourselves, we feel it will subside. Like we can come, I can hold it in. Your jaw gets tight. Your shoulders tense up. You start breathing shallow. You clench your stomach. People start to see this, all of that, as normal. They start to see that as that's the way it's supposed to be. They forget what it felt like to have peace. They forget what it felt like to be calm. A braced body cannot process grief. It can only contain it. It is your job to sit in that grief. It is your job to sit in the shit. And I'm telling you, it feels like crap. But it is yours. Grievers have choices, and not healing is one of those choices. And let me tell you something else. Healing is not going to begin when you feel better. It begins when you feel safe. Not safe forever. You're not waiting for forever to feel safe. When you feel safe enough. Enough for the body to soften. Enough for the sensation to move. Enough for the grief to come and go. When you feel safe enough to soften your body, safe enough to sit in the pain, safe enough to cry it out. That's how grief leaves your body. You drink the poison and it's got to come out. Not all at once and not dramatically. By all means, it's not dramatic. It's gradual. It's slow. It moves slowly. And as it's moving and as it's doing its thing, your body will start to feel safe. Friends, you don't need to force your grief. Now, I'll teach another lesson on that, but sometimes when we've gone processing, we didn't process, we avoided. Sometimes you got to sit your butt down and just do the grief thing. Sometimes you got to chase the emotions. Sometimes you got to sit down and relieve the pain because it's too much. You need a nervous system that knows it can feel without being overwhelmed. That's the work. That's the grief work. You need a nervous system that knows it can feel without being overwhelmed, that it can feel this no matter how bad it is. When you feel safe, you're going to let the grief move. When you feel safe, the grief is going to move. There is nothing wrong with you. Your body is protecting you because it feels like it needs to. But you need to give it permission to stand down. Protection comes first. Safety comes second. You need to understand that it's trying to protect you, and you need to push back against this. Because every time you go and process the grief, the healing is going to come. You're closer to the healing coming. Okay. Hey, Mary. She said, good to see you. I spent the weekend coordinating a grief space. Oh, look at you. I believe I found a space. Look at you. So cute. I love you, ladies. Hey, I want to say this. Thank you, Mary, for the share. I want to say this. Try it. Try sitting in the grief for as long as you can. Try sitting in the grief. See what it's like to really be the griever. See what it's like for you to really be the griever. And the more we go there and the more you feel safe, the safer the body's going to feel to allow it. And it's going to start giving you the signals. Hey, girl, it's time to release some grief. Hey, girl, it's time to do this grief thing. It's going to let you know when it needs to do it. All right. Today is Monday. I will be back live tomorrow on TikTok and Instagram at 10 a.m. I will be live on TikTok and Instagram at 10 a.m. If you are in Processing the Pain of Grief, your lecture is tomorrow at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. All of these times are in Central Standard Time. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time is your lecture tomorrow. If you are in the elective, that class starts at 3 p.m. And the elective starts at 3 p.m. If you Wednesday, I will be live at 10 a.m. in TikTok and Facebook in the Grieve That Shit Facebook page. And Honor Society will take place at 3 p.m. if you're in Honor Society. Thursday, I will be live at 10 a.m. in the Facebook group where the Courage Club, if you're in the Courage Club, the Courage to Grieve. What do you need to grieve? That's Thursday. And Thursday at 3 p.m. is Processing the Pain of Grief. I love each and every one of you. I see you. I know you're in pain. I want you to know that I'm here for you. Thank you for allowing me to show you what it means to get to safety, what it means for you, the griever, to get your body to safety. I'll see you in the next live. Bye, friends.